When you think about land, what comes to mind? Probably buying and selling, right? Property lines, price tags, the usual stuff. But what if we looked at it in a totally different way? What if land ownership could be a tool, and for connecting to a legacy that goes way deeper than any deed? Well, let's dive into that.
This quote from Ayla Sophia, wow, it really sets the tone for everything we're about to talk about. It's this powerful reminder that the ground right under our feet has a story. It's seen joy, it's seen sorrow, connection, and displacement. It's so much more than just property. It's like a living record of our history.
And because that record is so complicated, it's kind of brought us to a fork in the road. We've got two completely different ways of understanding what land even is. So check this out. On one side, you have the way things are usually done. Land is a commodity, something to be bought, sold, and divided up. And as this movement points out, that system, well, it's built on a foundation of some pretty serious historical injustices. But on the other side, there's a new idea emerging, one that sees land as a relationship. The focus here is all about stewardship, connection, and using land as a tool for real social change.
Now, to really understand why this relational approach is so important, we've got to look at the very real barriers the current system keeps in place. And these aren't just abstract ideas. They're rooted deep in history, and they have very real consequences today. This infographic here does a really good job of connecting the dots. It draws a straight line from past policies, things like broken treaties and the rescinded promise of 40 acres and a mule, all the way to the ongoing inequities that Black and Native communities face right now. It's all connected.
And let's look at the real-world impact. This number, 45.8%, that's the home ownership rate for Black households. It's significantly lower than the national average. This isn't just a statistic. It represents a huge gap in the ability to build generational wealth.
And the economic gap doesn't stop with housing. The median income for Black and Native households is over $25,000 lower than it is for white households. So this goes way beyond just real estate. It's about profound systemic economic inequality.
So, faced with these incredibly deep challenges, a new movement is taking a very old legal tool and completely reimagining it for a brand new purpose: healing. Let's see how that works. Okay, so what in the world is a land trust? At its core, it's just a legal tool. A trustee holds property not for themselves, but for a specific purpose or for a whole community. You've probably heard of them being used for conservation, to protect a forest or a coastline, but now that same idea is being adapted for restorative justice. Which, of course, brings up the biggest question of all, doesn't it? How can something that sounds so dry and technical, a legal document, even begin to touch wounds that are centuries old? And the best part is, this isn't just some nice idea. It's a totally actionable plan. They've created a whole toolkit with a land trust agreement, clauses you can put in your will, the whole shebang. It provides a real practical pathway for individuals and families to secure their legacy in a way that truly aligns with these deeper values.
So with the tools in place, what does this new path actually look like? What kind of future can we build on a foundation like this?
Take a look at this. It's a concept called the L House, and it's a fantastic vision of what's possible. It imagines a community with private homes, but also these wonderful shared spaces, common gardens, places to connect. It's a tangible example of what can happen when we stop thinking only about dividing up land and start thinking about how we can share it.
What's so compelling, though, is where this whole movement comes from. It's not some big, faceless corporation. It actually stems from a deeply personal mission. It was started by Ayla Sophia, and it grew out of her own journey to reckon with her family's history. In her own words, she talks about feeling a call from her ancestors to help right the wrongs of the systems they were a part of. Just think about that for a second. This isn't about some abstract social theory. It's about taking on a deep, personal responsibility to change a legacy.
And that personal mission has scaled up into this incredibly bold vision. The Alliance has made a public commitment they call the 2050 Pact. The goal? To facilitate the return of 1 million acres of land in the Trail of Tears region back to the stewardship of Native peoples and descendants of enslaved people. That is a massive, concrete goal for justice.
So we end up right back where we started. If it's true that land holds our collective memory, all of it, the good and the bad, then the crucial question for all of us is, what story do we want to write on it next? What kind of legacy are we going to choose to build for the generations that come after us?